Congrats on victory today, taking over first place in the MIAA. Coach Amber Warners, if you could introduce your players and then begin with an opening statement.
Sure. This is Jenna Lodewijk, our junior setter, Laura Danhoff, our senior middle. I thought it was a pretty hard-fought match. I thought both teams at times received serve very well and at times did not. I thought Hope did a really nice job receiving our serves. There's not been many teams that have been able to do that consistently, and I think they did a really nice job, and it was very evident that Becky prepared her team for us. I was really happy with our composure, especially in the third set when things got tight and they started to make a run. And one of the things we're learning about this team this year is they dig in when their back's to the wall, and it was the same thing that happened tonight.
You guys haven't been pushed too often, so in that third set, was that especially gratifying to see how you guys reacted to that?
Well, we went 5 sets with Milliken, and we played Wittenberg, which is no slouch of an opponent. Heidelberg is pretty high up in the region, and we had Eugeniata, who was ranked, I think, 4th at the time. So we really have been pushed, and I think we've had our strength of schedule is very, very tough. And so anybody that has been at the matches would know that this has been characteristic of us the whole season.
Laura, can you talk just a little bit about the rivalry lately? I mean, you guys lost in the national semifinals, and it was a big emotional match for both teams, and you guys have swept them 4 in a row since. What has been working so well for you? And just as a player, just what is it like having that kind of a, I don't want to say stranglehold, but having that kind of a record, you know, going through more than a year now in the rivalry?
Yeah, it's always so fun to play Hope. They're a really great competition, and we're lucky that we have them in the MIAA with us. You know, some good competition. It's been a great year and a half or whatever since that loss. I think that we've just really come back strong, and the team is just all about these matches, and we just get really hype and do our thing.
Your front this year, Amber, just looks like it's just dominant. You have strong group.
Yeah.
Could you speak to that a little bit?
Well, I think we're big, we're tall. I think one of the challenges we've had as coaches is to take this talent, and we're young too, take the talent, especially in the front row, and help cut down on mistakes. And so we've really tried to do that along with our back row and a consistent passing. So we have actually, I feel like we've regressed in practices as far as we've gone back to the basics more than I ever have before, and the amount of growth that we've seen in just a few weeks has been tremendous on a day-to-day basis. So they are soaking it in, they are learning. To have 2 freshmen play front row is quite rare, and I think all of our freshmen are handling everything really, really well. So I'm really pleased. This team has gelled right from the beginning, and they're easy to be around, and they would do anything for each other. And I think we've had great team chemistry in the past, but they literally dig in the trenches together. And if that's on the court or in their personal lives with things going on, it's very humbling for me to be a part of.
And you have Laura as one of the senior leaders. Could you speak to that part of it all too?
Yeah, Laura has, I get emotional talking about it. Laura has come further than I, as a player in 4 years and as a person, more than I have ever experienced in 25 years. And to her credit, she's taken a lot from me, and I've asked her to change a lot, and she has been bought in every single minute, and I just couldn't be more proud of the woman that she's becoming.
All right, Coach, you had alluded to the serving. It wasn't last year. You guys really just dominated them on the serve, and you guys are still serving really good today. But there's a couple big moments. Jenny had that floater ace. Can you just talk a little bit about that? What made you choose that moment? I know you've done that in the past, and it's had some success. But what was it about that moment that made you go for it at that particular time?
Well, definitely our assistant coach, Coach Ray, helps us out a lot on serving zones. And yeah, I think there's always a lot of pressure serving in a gym like Hope's gym. But we just, in practice, we've really worked on like positive self-talk right before you serve, and saying the same thing before you serve every time and having your own serving routine. So I think that's helped me a lot.
For sure. Did you see something in the defense to use the floater though, instead of something else?
Yeah, I think obviously listening to Coach Ray,
Yeah.
I think that's huge. But yeah, we're definitely paying attention to where their passes were. So.
All right, and Laura, can you just talk about when that moment happened? I know you had a couple of big aces too, but just such an odd one like that just kind of fell in between everybody, and it was close at the time, and it kind of sparked you guys on. How big of a moment is something like that when you can almost see it in the opponent's eyes, where the look of defeat after a point like that?
Yeah, I actually had my back turned when that happened, so I wish I could have seen it. But we treat, every point like any other point. I think in aces especially, we get especially hyped for it. But when it comes down to it, it's just another point. So we just stay with the game plan, and yeah, we love it when it just falls, but keep with it, even if it doesn't.
Can you just talk about the you guys, like you said, didn't serve quite as dominant as you had, but the big moments, the serves were there.
Yeah, and I think if you look at our we don't go after aces actually. We have a different strategy. We have worked really hard for 2 years on our service strategy, and we've done a lot of research on it, and I think we're well above the set average than most teams, and so it's really gratifying as a coach to put so much time and effort into what we're trying to do, and we've seen improvement, but this year it's even been more. We worked so hard on it in the off season, and they've bought in to that strategy, and I think it's really great to feel that hard work is paying off in an area that you're really being intentional about.
Thanks, guys. Congratulations. Good luck for the rest of the season.